Welcome to the Total Soccer Show Weekender, where we're going to preview some of the biggest games of this weekend, hear about some of the games you're excited about, and we're going to finish up with a lovely old quiz. My name's Ryan Bailey. Joining me today, hello Taylor Rockwell. How are you, sir?
A little bit nervous. I guess that's the theme for this week. I usually go back over and make sure the quiz is all done and makes total sense before we get going, and then still maybe have some issues along the way. I failed to do that this time, so I'm hoping all the questions are good. We'll find out.
Chaos quiz? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Is that not normal?
1 point for Ryan for knowing the name. Good job, Ryan.
Yes. Off the board already. Hello, Graham Ruthven. How are you?
I'm good, Ryan Bailey. You got any plans for the weekend? Any day drinking? Every time I ask you this, it seems to be what it is.
I shall be attending the Charlotte Football Club home opener against Austin
nice.
SC. That's what I'll be doing. Yeah.
Can't be worse than last week.
Yeah, I was going to say, how closely will you be watching the soccer on the field?
I don't know. Depends if they've got any Timbits or anything in the
any moonshine.
refreshments or moonshine. Yeah, pairs nicely.
Presume they sell that at the Bojangles.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you get it's when you get the sachets of barbecue sauce and ketchup, you just get little sachets of moonshine to put on the chicken as well. Yeah, that's how it works down here. Mm-hmm. Joe Lowry, hello.
Hey, I do want to make it clear. I think I actually believe in Charlotte more than most people right now. So I'm not. It's just fun to make fun of something that you guys like, right? I think we all kind of do that.
Yeah. Especially Ryan.
It's very mean-spirited, yeah.
Mostly Ryan. Yeah, Ryan, you would never participate in something like that. But I do want the record to show that I still think Charlotte are going to be decent this year.
Excellent stuff. Rest of my weekend, in case you're interested, Graham, lawn season is here, so I'll be seeding a lawn. That's fascinating for you.
Lawn season.
Oh,
yeah.
man.
When the warm comes, you have to aerate your lawn, you have to put seed on it and topsoil on it. Oh, it's a lawn in the UK is a pleasure. Here it's a battle to keep it alive.
That kind of sounds like you should just let it die then. Is it worth the effort?
If I were king in my house, which I'm not, I would have I'll turf the whole thing. AstroTurf that bad boy.
Oh,
Lawns
no.
are dumb. Lawns are dumb. That's what I have to say.
Yeah, agreed.
But
ecological waste.
don't grow one. Grow other stuff that helps bees.
Ooh.
helps bees.
My lawn is mostly mud at the moment, though. Does that help the bees?
Grow basil and make pesto.
Jeff Bezos?
Good call, Joe.
Yes.
That's something different.
I think basil also keeps away mosquitoes. I think it's one of the natural mosquito repellents.
What's wrong with asphalt?
Kiss my asphalt, Graham.
Scotland.
I have a lovely lawn in the back garden and the front garden. I just don't have to do anything to it. It's just natural.
In your lovely gated community where no one is allowed to see you. Is that how it is?
That's right. Yeah. That's how I like it.
It's a wealthy prison where Graham lives, surrounded by asphalt, apparently.
Not just gated community, gated room that I'm in. This is not a prison, really.
Just Sophie on the outside can't get through security.
Yeah.
There has to be a lot of asphalt. Graham's neighbours can't park their Ferraris on the lawn.
Yeah,
what do you think
right,
they are? Come on. Patreon.com/Total Soccer Show is where you'll find our bonus content. It is the best way to support us and Graham's Ferraris. You can get bonus episodes, bonus video, and access to our Discord server where all the cool kids are hanging out. Patreon.com/Total Soccer Show. Thank you to everybody who supports us via that medium. Later on in this episode, we'll be hearing from some of those good folk who are recommending some games they're looking forward to this week. But not before we get to the games we, as a foursome, are looking forward to. Taylor, would you like to kick us off with the game you're excited about this weekend?
I would love to. I'm going to go to the Milan Derby, Inter versus AC Milan. Inter haven't lost in the league since November 23rd at home to Milan. They're coming off a 0-0 draw in the Coppa Italia semifinal against Como. Milan, by comparison, are not in as strong of a position, certainly. Christian Pulisic hasn't scored in any of Milan's last 10 games in all competitions. He started their last 2 matches after a period of only starting 1 and 5. Rafael Leao is currently their top scorer with 9 goals. Pulisic in second with 8. So when your second top scorer hasn't scored in 10 games and is still that high up the rankings, it maybe tells you something about the season. However, I'm reliably informed that form goes out the window when it comes to derbies. Inter with a point to prove after losing the kind of home fixture of this one, even if it's in the shared stadium. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's an Inter win. I would be very happy to see Pulisic scoring some goals or getting some assists in this one.
Yeah, this one, I'm hoping it's run quite close. So it depends, obviously, how Milan turn up for this one, effectively. But
If they turn
we'll
up,
see,
yeah.
We'll see. Yeah, very good. There'll be a very good atmosphere at San Siro for the Derby della Madonnina, as Taylor mentioned there. It's Sunday, 2:45 Eastern on the Paramount. Is this deciding whether we have a title race or not, this game?
I think it is, yeah. Milan need to win this for there to be any semblance of a title race. Great name for a derby, I was going to interject, Ryan. Like, anytime you or anyone else says Derby della Madonnina, it always sounds very exotic, doesn't it? Is that in reference to the statue of Madonna is that what that is?
Yes, it's a statue to the 80s pop star Madonna on the top of the cathedral in the city centre, yes.
Controversial when they put it
That's
out.
good.
Yeah.
I like that.
They shouldn't have put the Guy Ritchie one up next to it. That's my thought. But hey, I ain't in charge. There we go. That one, yeah, very much looking forward to that one. Obviously, the pinnacle of the Serie A weekend. Joe, what's your weekend looking like in terms of the game you're most excited about? Charlotte FC versus Austin? Yep, okay, should we move on?
No. I can't. I don't have polite things to say, so I'm gonna say something else. Columbus against Chicago. So the Columbus Crew hosting the Chicago Fire. This game is 7:30 p.m. Eastern time on Saturday. I think daylight savings is this weekend. Is that right? So I'm very confused at what time things are happening. I'm just gonna show up at 6 a.m. Monday, or I guess Tuesday morning maybe, and just hope that I got the right time with Taylor and Jeff, and we'll figure it out from there. This is, I think, a matchup between two of the most entertaining teams in Major League Soccer. Where I said I was down a little bit on the Crew on Tuesday's show, and I am. But man, they still play really, really fun soccer. And in general, MLS right now, there are so many teams that are doing fun, interesting things. And the Crew are very much one of those under Hendrik Riedstrom. Diego Rossi and Wissam Abu Ali are playing basically as well as any attacking duo in Major League Soccer right now. Abu Ali looks very, very real deal as that number 9, and Rossi's in I think, the form, basically some of his best form that we've seen of him in MLS. And then you have the added boost of maybe getting to see Taha Brun, who's a young American central midfielder for this team, and the very tight passing combinations that the Crew have carried over from Nancy to Riedstrom, albeit with a slightly different emphasis. Max Arston getting a lot of play over on that left wing. The Crew are just fun to watch, and the same goes for Chicago, who have not been full strength so far this season, but they are still a delight, I think. You have, at this point, Philipp Zinkernagel, who was incredible last year in his first season as a right winger. He has shifted inside this season to play as more of a number 10. At least we've seen some of that from Chicago. And you've got then a little bit of extra dynamism on that right side, a little more creativity coming in across the attacking group. And Chicago are trying to figure out exactly what their best look is, whether they're in a straight-up 4-3-3 or if it is more of a 4-2-3-1. You have some young American talent on that side as well. This is the MLS game that I'm looking forward to watching the most. I think it's going to be a fun watch overall.
Excellent. That one Saturday, 7:30 Eastern on the Apple TV. And Joe, you make a good point about daylight savings happening this weekend. So you're losing an hour on Sunday morning. And also, Graham's going to be an hour further away from us for a couple of weeks because I think Europe changes at the end of March, if I'm not mistaken. So it's going to confuse all your Premier League watching and European game watching for the next couple of weeks as well, listeners. So have that. Great.
Stay sharp.
On that note, Graham, do you have a European game you're looking forward to this weekend?
Yes, I'm going to take us to Ligue 1. You really have to, back of the throat there, that's how you get that, like Ligue 1. You know, I watched a video on this and now I'm going to pronounce it correctly from this point on. I'm taking us to Ligue 1 for PSG versus Monaco at 2:30 Eastern on Friday. So you'll need to be quick after listening to this. If you were to look at the Ligue 1 table right now, I've abandoned it already. Ligue 1 table right now, you might be wondering why I've picked out this game, because PSG are currently 20 points ahead of Monaco, who are down in 7th. They have had a difficult season and are scrambling to try and get back into the Champions League places. But I watched the two recent Champions League matches between these two teams, and there is something about Monaco that gives PSG real trouble. Monaco also beat PSG in their first meeting of the league season last year. So there's a consistent pattern here, and Folarin Balogun is part of that pattern. He's scored more goals against PSG than any other team this season. PSG have had issues defending against him in transition, and Monaco have a lot of other options with the ability to hurt PSG. So Simon Adingra scored last week. Magdias Akliouche was excellent against them in the Champions League. Ansu Fati has shown glimpses this season. I think Lamine Camara is brilliant in central midfield, and someone's going to pay a lot of money for him in the near future, and he's done a really good job in the recent games against PSG of closing them down in central midfield and making sure they don't get into their rhythm, which is a huge compliment to him that he's able to do that. And then on the PSG side of things, it doesn't seem like they have found top gear this season. They, as I've mentioned, they've struggled against Monaco in the Champions League recently. They might have gone out of the Champions League had it not been for a fairly questionable red card in the second half of that second leg. They then struggled past Le Havre in the league after that. They're badly missing Ousmane Dembele, who is still sidelined through injury. They've tried different options in that number 9 position. They've tried Desiree Doué. They've tried Kvaradona. I think Bradley Barcola, maybe in the last game against Le Havre, started in that position. And nobody is really able to do what Dembele does. I think João Neves is also a concern right now and will probably miss this game at the weekend. So while Monaco might not be in a title race, I think a win for them would open the door for Lens to close the gap again, and they are very much in a title race, and so I think this one is certainly one to circle on your calendar.
I love, Graham, the Lamine Camara shout. He's somebody that I've very much enjoyed watching for years now. We talked about him in a great bit of detail at the last AFCON. He is so much fun to watch on the ball. He's rangy, covers a lot of ground, can glide past you on the dribble in midfield. I think his passing game has improved a little bit from when I've watched him over the last, I guess, now couple of years. I completely agree with your assessment that he's going to make Monaco a lot of money.
Excellent stuff. That game is today, 2:45 Eastern, on beIN Sports. Just a point on your pronunciation of the league's name, Graham. It's called Ligue 1 McDonald's.
McDo. The French say McDo, don't they? McDo.
Oui.
Ligue 1 McDo. That
So they
sounds
go for their
tremendous.
Royales with cheese.
That's right, yeah.
Is one of you going to eat a McArch while you're here?
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. And the truth is, I followed that guy before he even went viral.
What?
Why?
The CEO of
Why,
McDonald's.
Graham?
Why?
What are you doing?
I like McDonald's.
Why do you that's fine? Why do you follow the McDonald's CEO, Graham?
Because just sometimes I just want to see a rich man eat a Big Mac, and so he scratches that itch for me.
You wanted it more than
are
he
you?
did, Graham.
Yeah, that CEO was Graham's boyhood club executive that he followed. To be fair, he's followed him throughout his career. His LinkedIn is
That's right.
followed him throughout. So
I had him when he was just an up and comer at Chili's.
That's right,
You know,
yeah.
he's really.
He's been there since day one when he was at a petrochemicals company. Yeah.
Oh, Graham.
PSG Monaco today at 2:45 Eastern. The game I'm looking forward to this weekend is in the FA Cup. The FA Cup 5th round is upon us. We have America's team, Wrexham, hosting
like that at all.
Chelsea. Well, if you'd want to learn more about that, Joe, of course you can visit Soccer 101, where Graham and Taylor had an excellent discussion about why Wrexham is indisputably America's team. This is the first competitive meeting
Ryan.
between Wrexham and Chelsea since 1982. To get to this match, Wrexham beat Ipswich in the last round. Before that round, they beat Nottingham Forest as well. So they've already taken out a Premier League team. Well, they're a Premier League team for now. Chelsea, in the last few rounds, dismissed Charlton and Hull by many goals scoring against those two teams. Wrexham, you might have noticed, are doing pretty well in the Champo this season. They are currently 6th. They're in the playoff places. They are looking for their 4th consecutive promotion. It's never been done before, basically going from non-league straight to Premier League consecutive promotions. Incredible stuff. We have to give them credit for that. And they've done it all with the same manager as well, so they definitely deserve credit for that. And remember,
Single-handedly proving that fan ownership model is stupid.
yeah. Yeah.
Same players as well. Paul Mullen, is he still? Ollie Palmer, they're still
They're all
the
still
two.
there. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, very much so. But, when you look at the fairy tale, you have to see all it took was hard work, grit, and an unfathomable amount of money. And when you've got those things, anything can happen. So
right, yeah.
It's incredible. It's incredible. But Wrexham are in good form. They are fun to watch at the moment. Beefy Kiefer Moore and Josh Windass getting the goals for them at the moment. Josh Windass, of course, the son of one of Joe's favourite players, Dean Windass, from back in the day. And it is
Dino.
funny. Yeah, his name is Windass. That doesn't cease to amuse me. He's got 5 FA Cup goals in his last 5 FA Cup starts as well. They've got one of the best defences in the Champo as well. So this is obviously a stern test for them. Chelsea, this is their most realistic path to honours this season. They are the competition's 4th most successful team with 8 wins to their name. So let's place our bets on when one of their players gets sent off in this game, and I'm sure they'll still be the favourites therein. Also, Wrexham news this week. You'll have noticed, listener, that their US tour was announced. Wrexham are playing Liverpool at Yankee Stadium, Leeds in Tampa, and Sunderland in Philadelphia. So maybe they'll all be Premier League teams next season. Who knows?
Soccer's in a weird place at the moment, isn't it? Wrexham versus what did you say?
Liverpool
at
Yankee
Stadium.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is
And Sunderland
straight
and
out
Philly.
the tombola.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
What a time to
Can
be
I
alive.
Can I ask a question about the Chelsea-Wrexham game?
You may.
Graham, would you, if you had to place a bet, let's say you get even odds, so you're just looking to find the winner, would you place a bet on 10-man Chelsea versus 11-man Wrexham from the opening whistle? Like, who would you pick in that?
Oh man, you'd still have to go Chelsea because they've had a man sent off in so many games.
They're
They're
so
actually
used
quite
to it.
good at it. Yeah. But I genuinely do think Wrexham have a shot here at pulling off a shock. They definitely seem to have some sort of momentum at the moment. So
I won't go that far. I will predict 2 red cards in this game. I think one for each
Spicy.
team. It feels like it could be that game where it gets scrappy pretty quickly and then cards are dished out.
Does Ryan Reynolds get dismissed, do you think?
hold me back.
If he does,
hold me
it'll
back,
take him a
Hugh-
minute to
Hugh
understand
Jackman.
what's happened. Yeah, yeah, right. Hugh,
Did
tell
I
me what
see-
happened. He showed me a red card. What does that mean? Oh, it's bad. It's bad. Okay. Cool.
Graham, did I see on the Sky broadcast that him and Rob Mack are doing commentary for this game as well?
That's kind of awesome.
It's not for this game, is it? It's a Swansea game. 'Cause
Oh,
Sky
is it?
won't have that. Yeah, it's like a league game, but
I
yeah,
think
they're
that's
doing commentary.
I think that's a fun idea. I'm into that.
I'd listen to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very cool. All right. Wrexham, America's team. Catch them 12:45 Eastern on Saturday on ESPN Select Max Plus. Good stuff. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we're looking at the games you, dear listener, are looking forward to, and we've got some scouting reports from our TSS Scouting Network for your ears in a few minutes. Join us then. Total Soccer Show, welcome back to the Weekender. We go now to our Discord. If you'd like to join the Discord, by the way, you can do it via our Patreon, patreon.com/Total Soccer Show. Thank you to everybody who is in there, dropping in the game recommendations for this weekend, including MJ, who is looking forward to the USWNT taking on Colombia on Saturday in the She Believes Cup. MJ says, I'll be watching with nerves, just hoping nobody gets fouled into several months of the rehab room. Oh boy. So, Joe, 2 wins out of 2 so far for the USWNT in She Believes. Can we make it a 3? Sure.
Yes, very much so. This U.S. team rocks. We have seen a lot of departures from camp, which has been a bit of a bummer. But this USWNT team, is playing some really, really good soccer across the board right now. We got to see Naomi Garma in all of her splendor. I am looking forward to seeing what this team cooks up. I do not think there has been a more talented version of the U.S. women. I hesitate to say this since I've started doing this job. I think not the group that's assembled quite in this camp because they're missing Mal Swanson and Sophia Wilson, but this U.S. team absolutely rocks. So even if you get a chance to watch them at 60%, you should do that.
Amazing. Very good. That one Saturday, 3:30 Eastern on Peacock. John Adams is looking forward to some Bundesliga action. John says St. Pauli hosts Frankfurt at the Millantor Stadion Sunday at 7:30 a.m. Pacific time. St. Pauli have won 3 of their last 4 to climb out of the relegation spots. Can they keep the good times a-rolling? Find out on ESPN Select Max Plus, says John Adams.
Oh.
Excellent.
This one hurts me a little bit because I saw reporting coming out of Germany that Nathaniel Brown, remember him as a one-time he could play for the U.S.? Apparently Liverpool looking at Nathaniel Brown. Cool. What could have been?
Oh,
Makes
so we
me
could be
sad.
playing Wrexham soon.
Yeah. America's team. How much are Wrexham paying you, Ryan? I want to know.
I wish they were. I want some Disney dollars, Joe. Anyway.
Who doesn't?
Who doesn't? Gundal is also looking forward to some Bundesliga action. Wolfsburg are hosting Hamburg. That's 6:30 Pacific, 9:30 Eastern on Saturday. Gundal says Wolfsburg have not won in nearly 3 months. Wow. And now have a mere 2 points in their last 8 matches, putting them in position for a surprise relegation, one that many Bundesliga fans would enjoy. With Hamburg this week and a 6-pointer with Bremen up next, now is the time for them to start earning points. The schedule gets much tougher after the international break. Wow. All is not well at Wolfsburg. Those poor Volkswagen fans. So sorry. Yeah. Saturday, 9:30 Eastern, if you want to catch that one on ESPN Select Max Plus. Andrew is looking forward to some Liga action. Atletico Madrid are hosting Real Sociedad. It's interesting enough for me to actually watch La Liga, says Andrew. Oh boy, shots fired, Graham. I don't know how you feel about that. Yeah. Anyway, as we know, we have US interest in this one. Pellegrino Matarazzo has Sociedad up to 8th, and their only loss with him in charge was against Real Madrid. So I'm interested, says Andrew, to see how they stack up against another top team. Do we think Atleti will do any attacking this weekend, Graham?
Maybe a little bit more than they did against Barcelona in the second leg of the Copa del Rey game the other night. And this will be a preview of that Copa del Rey final, because the night after, Atleti squeezed through their tie, thanks to Johnny the Destroyer, in part at least. Real Sociedad's beat Athletic Club in the second leg of their tie, and so they have set up the final. I believe that's next month, like mid-April or something like that, against Atletico Madrid. So not only might Pellegrino Matarazzo carry La Real into European qualification, which is very much on the cards, might end up with a trophy. So things are going rather well for him. So very interested to see how he shapes up against Atleti this weekend.
Wow.
One question about this game. Does anyone know where Pellegrino Matarazzo is from? Have we ever discussed that?
Oh, something about a fountain, maybe. It could be.
They have a fountain store there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't believe
And a band
Ryan
that was named after it.
controlled himself. I was really thinking that would get him going, but no. He's too much of a professional.
Am I? I wouldn't categorize
Never mind.
myself that way. That game you can see Saturday at 12:30 Eastern on ESPN Select, Max Plus, etc., and so on. Very good. Shreyas, our friend Shreyas. Hey, looking forward to watching Chelsea visit the racecourse ground to face America's team, Wrexham. Would be Wrexham's biggest win under their current ownership, and Chelsea seem prone to an upset loss, says Shreyas. 2 right there, Shreyas. Very good. AJ is looking forward to, as Joe is, the Columbus versus Fire game on Saturday night, but also on Sunday, Middlesbrough against Queen's Park Rangers. Every game matters at this point in the season, with promotion on the line, says AJ. And Joe's favourite, Aidan Morris, had a wonderful assist this week, so hopefully that becomes a habit.
Hey, AJ, never forget, I'd rather have Aiden Morris at the World Cup than Johnny Cardoso. So there's levels to this, but, that's where I'm at.
Yeah, when there's a guy assisting for Middlesbrough in the Championship, you just got to pick him over the guy actually making a difference for Atletico Madrid against Barca. You just got to
do it.
you know?
Joe, does that assist do anything for you?
I didn't see it, so I don't know. It might be a dumb one, or it could be a really good one. It's
Yeah.
possible. Like Noki Banks' assist the other day was a good one. You see it and you know it. That's
Because Noki Banks made it.
Because Noki Banks made it, and it was actually like the goal happened because of him. But some assists are worth more than others. That's why expected assists exist.
Yeah, you're right. And Graham, to your point, I think in their history, Middlesbrough have never made a Copa del Rey final. So, say what you
Can't
want
argue
about
with that, yeah.
You'll never sing that.
One final one here from Alaska Footy. It's going to take a slight tangent, but stay with us here. Not a soccer match, says Alaska Footy, but I'm fired up for the Arctic Winter Games kicking off in Whitehorse, Canada. It's a semi-annual winter sports competition for youth athletes representing Arctic regions like the Yukon, Greenland. Taylor's got a patch. Wow.
From the Arctic Winter Games of 1982. I did not see this in the Discord until this very moment. Yeah, I have that on my desk from when my parents
Is that next
lived
to your
there.
passport, Taylor, or where is that?
That's over here. No, you want to know what's next to? The other thing that's near and dear to my heart. A Bruno trading card. There you go.
All the valuables in one room.
What's the Arctic Winter
Oh.
Games connection, Taylor?
And also a rock from my daughter. That was very important. They lived in Fairbanks. They were stationed there. And my mom got really into dog sledding and did it kind of. But then they attended the Arctic Winter Games. And I have this patch accordingly. One day I will maybe even put it onto a hat. But that's cool. Didn't know about it. Now I do.
There you go. You can have a chat with Alaska Footy about that then and reminisce about the Arctic Games from 40-something years ago as well. Alaska Footy says, I'm a ski coach and one of my high school students has qualified to represent Team Alaska in ski biathlon. I couldn't be prouder, says Alaska Footy. That's incredible.
That's so cool.
That's very cool. Yeah, very cool. Love to hear it. And I was today years old when I learned about the Arctic Winter Games as well, so I will check that out as well. And also, Alaska Footy says, in between races, which start Sunday, I'll be checking out the Derby della Madonnina. So some Italian action happening for Alaska Footy as well.
A question
Excellent stuff.
for Alaska Footy and probably no one else here. Does designating that they've qualified in ski biathlon imply that there are other biathlons? I guess that's just a normal thing, right? Not the ski version where you're shooting a gun and skiing, right? I mean, do we think there's like water skiing biathlon, I hope?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's with a harpoon instead of a rifle.
It is challenging in this format to ask Alaska Footy a question because they don't really have a means to reply.
I think water ski biathlon only happens in Florida between Florida residents. That just feels right to me.
Hosted in Jacksonville annually.
Right. You must yell Bortles after every shot, I think.
The IOC dictates. Excellent. I want to see, Taylor, you get one of those, what's those really fancy Canadian jackets? Canada Goose jackets, and put that patch on it. Then you'd
I'm looking at the shop. I'm on the Arctic Winter Games
of course you are.
store to look for, but it's not quite. I've gone in a slightly different direction. Hot wax binding it just. Oh, is this stuff to get done at your skis, or is it a shave? Hot wax.
You tell me, Tim. Could be either. Could be either. Yeah. You want your Tintins looking in shape.
$20 for a boot fitting. That's a good deal. Shall we all go?
Yeah,
It's
we're
too
all
early
doing
for
it.
this to already be happening on this episode.
All right, let's move on. Thank you very much for your Discord recommendations. Keep them coming in there. Thank you very much, guys. We should spend a little minute or two on our TSS Scouting Network. If you haven't joined it, do join us in the Discord there. We'll assign you a player, or you can assign yourself one. Taylor, do you have a report to give us right now?
I do. From a work of Bart, scouting Oscar, Petruski, 17 years old, left winger, left midfielder for FC Porto. Oscar, as I am now going to call him, is a speedy, shifty winger who enjoys taking on defenders, doing what dribble-savvy wingers like Jeremy Doku do, waiting for the defenders to get close before a quick touch and going by them. He played 65 minutes in Porto's 1-0 win over Rio Ave, providing the assist by beating his man near the top of the box and cutting the ball back for a Froholtz finish. At 17, he is not the most physical player. That's not surprising. And will need to improve defensively if he's to play a wing-back role. And with Porto having several players ahead of him on the left, his minutes may be limited, though he's clearly capable of providing that spark and injection of pace to create something in the final third.
Excellent stuff. Thank you very much. A work of Bart. That's just no notes. I love it.
I'm worried about Poland.
Whiskey? Ah, man, that's a tough one. There's no R in there. I added an R out of nowhere. Sorry. Go ahead, Joe.
No, the Phantom R. We get it. I'm worried about Poland developing players who might be doing fun soccer things. I kind of thought they were only able to develop like hard-nosed center backs and defensive midfielders that all play exactly like Krakowiak and just kind of are not good to watch. I'm concerned about this development. It's a problem.
Somebody hasn't seen Lewandowski's TikToks.
Oh, so true. The way he moves is so fluid. You know, it's like
Chesney's chain smoking.
He just really gets it.
Lewandowski eats dessert first. He just zags where
You
everybody
think?
else zigs. So he's famous for it.
That man has not
really
seen
good
a
point.
dessert in 15 years.
Yeah.
I've seen him with his shirt
His
off.
dessert is a carrot. Anyway, Richard Rolson has been in touch with a player who was mentioned on the Weekend Review Extra when we talked about the old firm. It's Mikey Moore, 18 years old left winger for Rangers on loan from Tottenham. Richard says, in his last match against Livingston, Mikey Moore continued to play a pivotal role for Rangers and their title hopes. The young winger, easy for me to say, scored the tying 88th minute header to help secure a 2-2 draw. For a moment, it was thought he'd earn Rangers a penalty in the extra time, but VAR ruled a foul took place just outside the box. The young winger made an argument that he was the best player on the pitch as he's had the most shots and the most shots on goal. He also had numerous successful dribbles, and his passing put his teammates in dangerous positions on numerous occasions throughout the game. Mikey Moore, Graham.
Yeah, he's been great. He's really turned a corner in 2026 under Danny Rowe for whatever reason first half of the season. I think he had a couple of kind of minor injuries to overcome, but absolutely now he is one of Rangers' key players. And I know there are Spurs fans looking at how Mikey Moore is doing for Rangers. The fact that he is a player who can get on the ball, wants lots of touches of the ball, beat a man, make something happen out of nothing. And I know some Spurs fans are looking at how he's playing and looking at how Spurs are faring in the Premier League right now and thinking, maybe we should have kept him around so he could have done some of this stuff, at least off the bench, for a struggling Spurs team. So whether he's going back to a parent club in the Champo or not next season, I think Mikey Moore has a very bright future.
Excellent stuff. We've got another old firm this weekend, haven't we?
We do, yeah, in the Cup, yeah.
They never end. Very good.
Because, the last weekend's was so terrible. It was an awful game with no good goals or anything.
No drama.
So, yeah.
Take your word for it. Joe, what you got?
I've got David McCracken reporting on David Mela, not sure which one it is, 20-year-old right winger for Deportivo La Coruña in the second division in Spain. David says, of David, he's been a steady performer on the right wing for Deportivo, starting every game and usually playing the full 90. Not much in terms of goals or assists in recent games, but generally playing well per local media. Signed a contract through 2029, had some interest from Saudi Arabia, but was very vocal that he wanted to stay in Europe. Deportivo are in the promotion race, currently part of a three-way tie for second on points. So even absent any move, he could still be in La Liga next year. David Mea is a very interesting player because he's been I don't know if fixture is quite the right term. He's been a regular with the Spanish youth national teams, but is only playing in the second tier in Spain. So I don't, frankly, quite know what's going on there or how this has happened. You wouldn't think that would be the case. But go on, David Mea. Do your thing. Keep it up, pal.
Excellent stuff. I got confused when I read that for a second because David Mellor is a Tory politician from back in the day. He might have been the sports minister at some point, I think, but he probably isn't. Well, he's right wing, but he doesn't play on Deportivo's right wing.
Neil Mellor is who I'm thinking of, the former Liverpool striker who scored a good goal once.
When Ryan says I was confused and is thinking back to what name someone's name reminds him of, it's either going to be a politician from the 90s or a drummer of a band I've never heard of. I think that's what I've decided. That's like the Ryan Bailey principle.
Yeah, there you go. You've nailed my oov very well. Thank you very much. Graham, what you got?
So Shreyas Romani has been in touch with a scouting report on Christian Kofani, 19-year-old striker for Bayer Leverkusen. We actually spoke a little bit about Kofani during AFCON. He played for Cameroon at that tournament. But Shreyas says Kofani came off the bench in the 72nd minute to assist Gerald Kwanzaa's equaliser in Leverkusen's 1-1 draw versus Mainz. He got in the end of a long ball that a couple of Mainz defenders misplayed and squared it to Kwanzaa for the finish. Joe says assists don't matter. Take that, Joe. But Kofani did some nice work and actually created the scoring chance here. So this sounds like a real Noki Banks of an assist from Christian Kofani. And as I say, having watched a little bit of Kofani, would very much back up the notion that he is a striker who is going places. To be fair, he's already a place. He's already at Leverkusen, so we might see him there for the next few years.
Excellent stuff. Thank you very much, Shreyas, and thank you, Graham. Hey, Joe, we're hitting the weekend. Let's do one more. Go on.
Let's do. This one's from Austin Reed on Believe Monongo, which is just an awesome name. A 16-year-old central midfielder for Metz, and he's also a French youth national teamer. Believe Monongo made his third ever start for the first team for Metz in their 1-0 loss to 10-man Brest, a result which kept Metz rooted to the bottom of the table. Believe played as a free 8, love that mostly drifted to the right in front of a single pivot in a 4-3-3, love that. He didn't look out of place receiving the ball on the turn and driving forward on a few occasions after getting the ball from the goalie. He attempted one semi-speculative shot from range before being subbed at halftime for a winger with the score still 0-0. Monongo should continue to get first-team playing time in the near future as Metz has a bit of an injury crisis in central midfield. Some sources think or hope Believe is due for a large role next year with Metz after the inevitable relegation. But with next season, the last year on his contract, I wouldn't be surprised to see him linked with moves away rather than stay in Ligue 2 next year.
Très bien.
Duh. That one comes from the front of your mouth. Duh. It's from the back. Duh. It's from the, yeah. It's like being sick.
Speaking French is like being sick. Quote, Graham Ruthven. Excellent. I tell you what, this tells you how good the writing on Ted Lasso is, because when you thought that Believe sign was on the wall, it was for sort of a state of hope for the team, but it was actually about a 16-year-old central midfielder in France.
It was a transfer target.
Yeah. They're just building for the next season. Incredible. What an arc. Congratulations. Thank you very much for all the TSS Scouting reports that we've received. Patreon.com/Total Soccer Show if you'd like to join the network and join in the fun. But for now, we take a break. When we come back, Chaos Quiz. Total Soccer Show, welcome back to the Weekender. It is that time of the week where we hand the reins to Mr. Taylor Rockwell, who's going to give us some quizzy questions. Here we go.
It's a slightly less chaotic quizzy series of questions. We'll see how we do. We talked about Tim Ream and his pace or lack thereof earlier in the week, so we're going to start the quiz off with one sort of related to that. His pace had me wondering about speedy players at the 2022 World Cup. Whoever buzzes in first can guess first. Who was the USA's fastest player in their
Graham.
3 group stage matches? Yes, Graham.
Where?
Joe, buzz.
Yes, Joe.
Shaq Moore.
Oh, wow.
Darn.
Ryan? The clock resets
Giorena.
to this one. Wow. That is incorrect. He will hopefully be playing for the U.S. at the next World Cup.
Joe, buzz.
Yes, Joe.
Christian Pulisic.
I thought this might be a very obvious one to start off. Here we are. 3,
Graham.
2. Oh, Graham?
Jedi.
Jedi is correct. There we go.
Of course. That should've been more
35.4
obvious.
kilometers per hour. Alfonso Davies beat him by 0.2 kilometers per hour. The fastest man in CONCACAF, Alfonso
Over
Davies.
That's Canada.
What? How do they judge that? Over what distance is it recorded? That's what I want to know.
You are welcome to research that. From the same report that gave me that last data, which goalkeeper covered the most ground in the group stage? He apparently ran just under 6,000 meters while playing in goal for his country.
Graham.
Ryan.
Yes, Graham.
Manuel Neuer.
That is incorrect. That is a very good guess.
Ryan.
He has played in the Premier League, this player.
Joe, Buzz.
Sorry, Ryan. Go ahead.
I've already buzzed, didn't I? Not my dog, the human Emmy Martinez.
No!
Not Emmy Martinez.
Yeah, I wasn't going to say that at all. Joe, Buzz.
Yes, Joe.
Allison.
Incorrect. I like where you all are going. I feel like this is going to stun you all. He still plays in the Premier League.
Graham.
Yes, Graham.
Oh, no.
Jordan Pickford.
Jordan Pickford is correct.
No!
Another point for Graham. Yeah, 5,996 kilometers,
Where is
which
he
I wrote as
going?
kilometers per hour, which would be very impressive if he had achieved that. But he did not. 2 points to Graham. Graham is off to a flyer so far. Ryan looks shocked and devastated.
I'm surprised. Yeah.
Yeah, the man was running around.
Good old Jordan.
Our MLS show on Tuesday reminded me that Justin Shea exists. I looked up the center back that was promised.
Ryan has literally never heard of Justin Shea until this
I'm excited about it.
They named the stadium in New York after him, didn't they?
Yes.
That's it. Yeah, he was that good theoretically. He is only 23 years old. He made his professional debut in 2020 and has bounced around a little bit since then before settling with the Red Bulls this season. In how many different countries has he played club ball?
Total.
Yes. How many different countries?
Well,
We can all have a guess on this one. Joe, I'll let you go last since I feel like
sounds good.
you may do some thinking. Ryan, with your infinite familiarity with Justin Shea, how many countries has he played in professionally?
it's 5.
Graham?
4.
I think Graham might be right with 4, but Ryan could be right with 5. I can only think of 3, I think. I mean, he starts in the U.S. I think he maybe moves to Germany next, and then I think he was playing somewhere in like Denmark or something along those lines, or Norway maybe. I'm going to say 3.
Ryan gets the point. It is 5.
Well done.
North Texas and Dallas, and then back with the Red Bulls to the United States. Joe, you're correct. Germany with Bayern 2, Hoffenheim 2, and Hoffenheim.
Yeah.
And then there's Brøndby in Denmark, ADO Den Haag in the Netherlands, and Patrol Eisden. We're all familiar with them, right?
Yeah, they play in Graham.
You were in like the right ballpark when you were running through the summary. Second division in Belgium. He's been around. He's been around. Yeah.
Good for him.
All right, so point for Ryan, 2 points for Graham. Now we'll get to some of the games from this weekend. Newcastle host. I have them as hosting Chelsea this weekend. That's not true, is it?
Wouldn't think
Because
so.
Chelsea play
Unless they're
Wrexham.
also in Wrexham.
Yeah.
Well, here we go. Newcastle set their attendance record of all time. See, this is why you fact check. In a match with his. Let's try this again. Newcastle set their all-time attendance record against Chelsea at St. James's Park. In what year did they set that attendance? I think that might be their next Premier League opponent, which is what I was looking at. Like a fool.
It will be.
All right. So, closest gets it. Ryan went first last time. Graham, in what year did Newcastle set their attendance record at St. James's Park against Chelsea?
Oh man, this might be a bit of a trick question because obviously before like the Taylor report, it's all standing, and so these numbers tend to be higher before the Taylor report. But St James's Park in the past wasn't one of the bigger ones, and actually they like expanded the Gallowgate and everything in the 90s. So I am going to say 2001.
Okay. Joe.
2023.
Ooh.
Ryan?
I think it's recent as well because Graham's logic is correct. St James's Park wasn't very big before they made it really, really big with loads of seats. So I think it's relatively recent. It was 2025.
Okay, let me run this through. So Ryan said 2025. Joe said,
2023.
and Graham said,
2001.
man, you guys made this tricky. Graham gets the point. 1930 is the answer.
1930.
30. 68,386 turned out to watch that game. It current has an all-seater capacity of 52,350.
Sorry, what was the number, Taylor?
68,000 plus,
Yeah.
and then 10,000 were turned away at the gates.
See, the thing is, even though that is obviously a big number and is bigger than what can currently fit in St James's Park, when you look at like other stadiums from around that time, the logic that St James's Park wasn't that big actually is still true, but even though we were wrong.
Wow.
The silence you heard, by the way, after Graham's guess was I forgot that for a moment that the question was in what year, and I had originally written what was the attendance number, and then I realized that would be a ridiculous one. But for a minute, I was like, Graham thinks the record attendance was 2001.
Awfully low.
Like, Graham, come on, man. A massive draw for that game was the return of the mighty Adam, Hughie Gallagher, who had just been sold to Chelsea from Newcastle for a sensational fee. Closest gets the point. What was that fee? I'll say this. It is more than you might think for 1930, even when adjusted, but not very much, even when adjusted for inflation. Joe, you want to go first this time?
I think the fee was £400 and a pack of cigarettes.
I like that answer.
Thank you.
Ryan.
I think it was £112 and 5 groats.
And 5 what?
Gross.
Shillings.
Oh.
All right.
Groats.
That's a thing.
Whatever.
And Graham.
Old-timey money.
I'll say £2,000 and a tin of sardines.
I feel like Graham's running away with this one. It was £10,000 in 1930.
No,
However, adjusted for inflation, that is $200,000 by the present situation. So
Crazy.
yeah, but I guess that's why you got to turn up and watch him. All 78,000 Newcastle fans want to see their ex-player show back up.
So if every person in that stadium paid a tin of sardines to get in, then they've cashed in, really, haven't they?
That's 68,000 cans of sardines plus 10,000 more they turned away at the gates.
For a minute, I was wondering if you monsters were going to make me look up the price of a tin of sardines in 1930. I'm glad you did not.
It's 2 groats.
Have you not got one in that room with you? Along with the...
Here's my sardines from
I can guess.
1924.
No, they're from 1937, so it doesn't quite count.
Taylor
Yeah.
could be
Right
one of
next to
those.
my Civil War hardtack.
You know those YouTube guys who eat like wartime ration food and stuff? I could see Taylor doing that.
Yeah.
The dude who eats like the presidents, I do enjoy his videos.
yeah.
Those are pretty fun. Those are awesome, except for
Is
when
that
he
the- well-
has to do the jellied
Harrison.
fish for breakfast
Yeah.
with a side
guy-
of whiskey and coffee.
12
Yeah,
cups
you
of
eat like
coffee for dinner.
The guy who
What,
eats
Graham?
like the president, is that not the McDonald's CEO right now?
No, he doesn't eat that.
Oh man,
I thought you said the guy who eats the presidents first. I got confused.
give it a few years. Give it a Fallout dystopian future. Maybe that'll happen. All right, whoever gets it first gets it. Juventus hosts Pisa this weekend. I'm now doubting all of my games this weekend. Pisa, who obviously hail from the location of the famed Leaning Tower. In what direction does the Leaning Tower lean? Anybody?
Oh, I've been.
Buzz on in.
Joe, Buzz. Buzz.
Yes, Joe.
It leans to the left.
God, come on. There's surely got to be a
Ryan,
point on the
I'm going to
compass.
need a north, south, east, or west, Joe.
West.
For Joe. Yes, Ryan.
Ryan, south.
Ryan gets the point. It leans to the south. So says the internet. I've never seen it, so I wouldn't know. All right. Here's
when
we
I
have
went
two
to,
more.
when I went
Go
to
on, Ryan.
Pisa in the 2 years I lived in Italy, it was I think the one time I found a restaurant that was non-Italian or had a Mexican restaurant there. It was wonderful.
When I went to Pisa, someone threw fireworks at me out a car window. Which
Was it
sounds
Ryan?
like a joke, but it was totally true.
You probably
Chi-
egged him on,
I was a
right?
child as well.
Wow.
Yeah, he
All
murked
right.
me.
2 questions remaining.
It's a,
They're a
it's
little
a
bit-
sign of endearment in Italy, by the way.
Yes, yeah.
Having fireworks thrown at you is?
Yeah.
You can't do it after midday, though.
You kiss on each cheek and you throw a firework.
This episode's gone off the rails a little bit.
I think if it didn't start on the rails, it can't go off of them. On Sunday, as mentioned, Milan hosts Inter in the stadium that they share, the Stadio Giuseppe Meazza, a.k.a. the San Siro. It's named after the famed Italian player and manager who played for both clubs. Both of them claim him. I'm not sure how fully fair that is. How many more times did he play for Inter in his 2 stints there than with Milan in his 1? We'll go closest closest at all gets it. So he played for both. How many more times did he play for Inter than he did for Milan? Ryan, to you.
Oh, I have to go first. 46.
All right. Graham?
187.
So 46, 187. Joe?
90.
Joe could tell you doing the math between those two numbers, so he picked one.
No, I realized I wanted to go over you by 1, but I'm already out of the running, and I didn't want to be a jerk, so I went with 90.
Well, it won't matter, because Graham gets the point again. 328 times. He played for Inter 348 times, and Milan 37 times.
You were close, Ryan, I would say. In the
All
cosmic
right.
sense.
Your final question, which I don't think matters, because I think Graham has it locked up, so we'll make this one worth 7 points. In your
Good,
next
good.
one. No,
Oh, I
we
can
won't.
get back into it.
But there's one more. Wait, hold on, Graham. What are you at now? 4, 5?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And Ryan, you have?
2.
I'm going to make this worth 2.5 points. So Joe can still beat Ryan if he gets it right. But Graham wins either way. And
love
that's
Justin.
what's most important. All right.
Okay.
Besiktas plays host to Galatasaray this weekend. Galatasaray has quite the history. They were originally founded by students from the esteemed private French language high school, Galatasaray High School. In what year was the school founded? So the club itself was founded in 1905. The school obviously predates that. I will give you one more hint if you would like. It will not help you. But what
Sure,
year
go for it.
was Galatasaray High School founded?
I'll take the hint. Why not?
It was founded during the reign of Bayezid II.
Oh, okay. So
in
not
that
the
case.
third.
Yeah.
Right. Well, the third started in 15. So, should I go first? Or,
You were on the right track, Joe. Yes, go ahead.
okay. I'm going to say this scholastic endeavor started up in 1799.
Okay. Graham?
It's going to be something insane, isn't it? I'll say 1620.
Ryan?
I'm pretty sure, if I remember the TV show Galatasaray High, it was set in 1512.
That's right.
1512 is your answer? Mm-hmm. Ryan is the closest. All of you still went
done.
over. 1481
Yeah.
is when Galatasaray High School was established. Only 28 years after the Ottomans took the city, changed the name. Then they built a French language high school where they have had the longest running high school drama ever since. Yes, Ryan is
That's right.
on brand with that one.
Is that still airing on Max, or did they move it?
Yeah, it's in
It's
season
on the CW.
400.
Season 400.
I would watch an Ottoman Empire high school coming of age drama. That
Wow.
rules.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Do you know why I said 1512?
Why?
Because it's the date that my school I went to, my high school, was founded.
All right.
Okay. All right.
Calm down, head boy.
Do you still have the mandatory spats and monocle you were issued from attending that university?
Very much so. Very much so. Mick Jagger.
Does Top
went to
Boy
my
get
school.
a cape? What do you get for that one aside from a pat on the head from your? What is
get
the?
a- you
Is
get
it,
a
it's not a
like a-
what is the principal of that place called?
Headmaster.
Head
Of
king,
course,
yeah.
it's the
Yeah, the
headmaster.
king, yeah.
Yes.
I think they give you like one half like creased smile, right? Otherwise, you're not allowed to show emotion. But it's just like, and that's all you need, really. That means well done, and I love you, and I'm proud of you all in one.
Okay.
I think. in
Yeah,
British
my
culture.
as head boy, my blazer had golden trim, and I didn't get caned by the headmaster every day. Privilege.
And 1512 was the daily tuition fee, 1,512.
Groats. Yeah.
Gross.
Oh man.
Did I win?
You
so
got
lost.
4.5 points. Graham wins with the 5 points.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Hey, listener, if this is your first time listening to The Weekender, I did win last week. I'm not usually this bad. Just sometimes I'm this bad.
Bless.
It was a lot of numbers. It was a little bit all over the place, and I got one of the key pieces of information incorrect. You're all very welcome.
Yeah, so it was a chaos quiz after all. It was a very enjoyable one at that.
Do
Tell
we
you
need
what,
more?
Greg,
I think we need more Ottoman history questions next time. That's really what I've learned from this one.
Yeah.
Slash founding of schools questions and high school drama questions. If you ever look up the remaining members of the Ottoman Empire, they do look like they should be in a CW drama, for sure. They look exactly like what you would... It looks like the Succession kids in like the present era. It's very strange.
Nice. Excellent.
Let's pitch it.
Let's pitch it. Rachel Bilson's available. Let's do it. Excellent.
Indeed.
Thank you very much, Taylor, for your quizzing, or your quiz mastering, I should say. And congratulations to Graham Ruthven for being the champion of this week's quiz. We go again next weekend, of course, next Friday. But for now, Taylor Rocco, thank you very much for all your services to this episode and all episodes.
My pleasure, and thank you, my friend.
Thank you very much, Graham Ruthven, and congrats again.
Thank you, Ryan Bailey.
And congrats, Joe Lowry. We'll get him next week.
Yeah, we will. Thanks, Ryan.
Listener, thank you very much indeed for joining us on this one. You have yourselves a wonderful weekend. Hey, look out on the feed on Saturday morning. You might see some listener questions drop there. But for this one, bye.